Hi, John. Please introduce yourself for the audience, for the aspirants here.
Okay. My name is John Gerber. I'm a mechanical engineer, originally from America, the state of Illinois, kind of the city of Chicago area. Um, I've worked for about 10 years in mechanical engineering, and post-COVID, basically working from home, working remote became more of an option. So now I've decided to become a digital nomad, basically. So I still work my same job, but we can travel. And so about a year ago, we decided to shift to India and landed here in Chandigarh for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I remember you saying that we did not land here by scrolling the globe and pinpointing here's where I will go.
Yeah.
How did you land on Chandigarh? Is your company here or in Delhi? Where is your why Chandigarh? Why
Yeah.
of all the India, such a big country?
Yeah.
Why Chandigarh?
So my company does have an office in Chennai, but Chandigarh was kind of it. It was kind of a roundabout journey. I'm an engineer. I like to do research. We like to plan. So we have visited India before and enjoyed it. So when we had the opportunity to travel and live abroad, that was already someplace we wanted to be. We knew we wanted to be in a city that would be big enough that it would have all the amenities that we would want, but we didn't want to be in a big city, an overwhelming city like Delhi or Mumbai. So kind of searching, we wanted to be in the northern part of the country. The the movie Two States.
Two states.
Yeah. So that was kind of our first introduction to this part of the country called Punjab.
Oh.
So that was sort of on our minds. We kind of came across the city of Chandigarh, and it kind of fit all of our interests. It's a nice sized city. It is just a nice city, well planned.
So your company does not exist in Chandigarh, na?
No.
But you actually wanted a work from home place. See, I told everyone my city is the most beautiful city to live. Hannah, if you want to work from home, it's the best city ever. I hate Delhi. I'll say it again.
Yeah, I've had exchanged emails with my boss because I originally was asking him for some business cards for our company because people asked me about it. And then he mentioned to me, well, are these potential business interests? And I said, well, they weren't, but if you want me to kind of explore that, I definitely kind of sold Chandigarh to him a little bit too, because I thought this is a nice city. It's got good infrastructure. You could, and it's not as overwhelming as other cities.
It is a good city, but I can't really say about the business aspect. If your company operates remotely and it's not trying to see Chandigarh as as a sales lead, then most welcome here.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think Chandigarh is a very slow city to start off your business.
Yeah.
Right. Now, you're a mechanical engineer, right?
Yeah.
Proper mechanical engineer. And what did inspire you to choose your career? I mean, what was your childhood like, man?
So I grew up in a small town, a farming town, basically surrounded by fields and all that.
Same.
From childhood, I just was always, I was the kid that would like take apart things like vacuum cleaners and radios. I would just take them all apart. So I wanted to do engineering. I always enjoyed planes. I still have I still get really excited whenever I'm on a plane. I'm the one I've flown plenty of times, but I still like to look out the window as we're taking off and all that. So when I was a student before university, I remember talking to our guidance counselor, and I said I wanted to go to the University of Illinois, and I wanted to study aerospace engineering. So that was my plan. I wanted to work for a company like Boeing or Airbus. Ultimately, aerospace became, it was really interesting. It was challenging. Ultimately, there was just fewer job prospects. So when I looked at the different disciplines, I thought, well, mechanical is more flexible. There would be more job opportunities. So that's why I switched to mechanical. The company I'm working for now, so my company is a smaller company contracted with Komatsu, which is an international global company. And that was kind of just the first job that I could get. It took me about 2 or 3 years to find a permanent job. And I've been with them ever since, and it's been great.
I could 100% relate with your childhood. I mean, I grew up in fields like you. I fell in love with engineering. I fell in love with aircrafts. After seeing the Iron Man movie, I wanted to be just like him. You know, genius, billionaire,
Yeah.
whatever.
Absolutely. Yes.
Amazing. And but for some whatever reason, I chose the field of commerce. Well, I guess I wanted to make money. Now I'm more inclined towards commerce in the sense that I can see the pattern where money flows, the finances flow. So I can still, fulfill my interest of engineering, but it won't be to make money. It would be for my own pursuit. I think that would also, that gives it a purity of its own. I don't have to do something because I have to have food on my table and whatnot. I can just do it at my own will.
Yeah.
And that is one of the very interesting aspects.
It's interesting because I feel like I've been a little bit on the opposite journey. So I'm mechanical engineering starting there, but as I've gotten older and learned more about business and investments, that is becoming more interesting to me. And it's kind of a similar, I think it comes from a similar technical mindset where I like to see how things work.
Okay, here I have a very interesting thing now. Why do you think all of the engineers in India, by the way, this is just and most of the management graduates as well, engineers are everywhere in every field. In government, IS exams are top exams here in the startup ecosystem, and then they go to management schools as well, business schools as well. I think the main reason they are there is because at engineering, people learn this problem-solving skill, which is very crucial for the business aspect, for life in general. And they do see that there is more money in the business aspect, so they flow there. Of course, business is always interesting to me as well.
Yeah.
But I was adding to your point.
Yeah, no, I think it's very true. I think that ability to sort of think creatively, to think dynamically instead of just
But at the
learn how to
same
do something
time,
and then repeat it.
you're not creatively abstract. You are in the real world as well. You have to be creative with your bounds. That's where the beauty emerges out of, don't you think, in any career?
Yeah, because I feel like even in my job, there's a lot of things like, so I've been in the job long enough that I've seen new engineers come in, and they come in with everything they've learned from school, and everything they've learned from school is in the abstract and in the theoretical. And I always want to say, well, when you learn how things actually get built, you're going to see why this doesn't work the way you think it's going to. Like the classic example is, so we build these big, we design big mining trucks, and there's a lot of maintenance involved. So you can design something that looks beautiful and sleek, but I'm thinking, okay, remember, someone has to reach in there and fix that. Like a person needs to be able to get what you're working on.
You must have said will this mine this diamond or not?
Yes. Yeah. Bam. So learning how to take what you've learned theoretically and imagine how this is going to play out in real life. There was one story from my job many years ago. So I was working on a design for an engine. And there's a spot where a hose connects to a port on the engine. And there were 2 or 3 fittings. So if you put it together, you would have one fitting and then another one and then the hose on top of that. And so I said, well, why don't we take these out and just put one little valve in there? And I go to this older engineer and I tell him my idea, and he said, well, that will work, but just remember, you are the engineer that every mechanic is going to curse because they're going to reach in to grab that valve and then they're going to burn their hands on the engine. So he's like, just remember, you're the one that they're going to be mad at. So I ended up not changing it.
That is a very interesting thing that you have. And you have to be in the bounds of practicality with someone who will actually operate that machine, right? Are you on the design team?
I am, yeah. I am in the new products division. So we're currently designing the next generation of mining trucks. Just like with vehicles, electrification is the big push.
Really?
Yeah.
And recently, I was, talking to someone who is building electrical tractors, basically, and it has half the power of a regular uh, diesel tractor. And do you think there is a like disparity in power comparison when it comes to like that? They were trying to build, as powerful as a diesel tractor for farmers in India. It was an Indian-based startup, and I thought really that's very interesting because their prices were par the heavy-duty one, but their load capacity was half of that. So, are you facing that issue with?
We are, yeah. And it's for the same, I think probably for the same reason, because it's always a trade-off. On the one hand, there's limits of technology. So we can build a big enough battery that will have enough as much power as a diesel engine, but it'll take 2 days to recharge or something like that. Or it'll be incredibly heavy, or it'll be really expensive. So there's all these different things that they're trying to balance out. Even the design that I'm currently working on, this is a truck that will get built and it will be sold with a diesel engine, but it's designed to have that engine replaced at some point in the future. So they know that the technology isn't quite there yet, but it's coming.
Damn smart move that you build like a car engine that you can replace, add a modification, maybe upgrade it. Nice thing. Is your company like doing the electrical shift because of the pressure from all over the world, from I guess big governments organizations, or is your company like finding better alternatives in that? Moving on to that is beneficial to them other than the environment aspect.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. Mostly, I think it's changes in customers. So they're selling trucks. Their customers are mines all over the world, and they're the ones saying, we don't want diesel trucks in our mines anymore. And for them, it could be government, it could be just good-hearted. They want to be better for the environment. A lot of times I think it's government regulations. Like in Europe, in Australia especially, there's more government regulation. So that's forcing the mines to change, which since we're the ones that they're our customers, they're changing for them. For me personally, that's a motivation for me. Like I am passionate about climate activism, so that's why I enjoy being in this job.
It's really nice because again you have to be in the bounds, you have some trade-offs in it. That's a very interesting field you are in, I must say. Now to a little bit relaxed questions. How do you find the difference in cultures back in US and here? Work culture, I mean.
Well, the work culture I don't necessarily interface with too much because I'm just working from home.
Are you working from home for the US division or for the Chennai division?
For the US division.
Okay.
So I'm still basically my job is still the same as it was when I was in the US.
Are you required to visit that office?
I haven't been yet. There's really so with my specific job, none of my responsibilities are connected to that business side of it. So I've never really been expected to visit the Chennai office. Maybe sometime in the future I might. It just depends on.
By the way, it's a very silly question. I actually love automobiles. Yeah. Do you guys have like a wind tunnel?
A what?
A wind tunnel to test the aerodynamics of that?
We don't, because there probably isn't one big enough.
Also because the trucks are not operating at that speed.
Yeah.
So silly question from my side.
Well, but it's interesting you asked that. We do have a software that will simulate that. So we'll have a 3D model and put it in a virtual wind tunnel.
But do you need that software?
Not really. It was kind of, I saw a demonstration of it. Because it's not really, I mean, they're traveling at most 40, 50 kilometers an hour.
I'm asking this from you because what if I want to build a car with you? Maybe you might put a very interesting take on the, mechanical engineering side.
Yeah.
I would love to have that.
That would be, yeah.
Build an Indian-based supercar.
Oh boy, supercars that's way too, that's
All right,
advanced.
Let's tune it down. A sports car.
Yeah, it would be. I would think I would enjoy the challenge.
It is interesting. I live for the challenge, man. Different things. Told you, I love science.
Yeah.
Although I am in a business aspect, but I love science, man. I'll be like Tony Stark.
That's yeah.
All right. What was the most challenging aspect of moving to India? Did you face from, US to Indian transition? What was it like?
I wouldn't say it's any one big thing. There's really just a lot of small things, and I think it's just getting used to how people operate here. Like in a social aspect, people are a lot more spontaneous than we're used to.
I'm the king of spontaneity.
Yeah.
Right?
We have people that will message me and say, "Hey, we're going to go out like right now. Do you want to go?" And it's like we're used to saying, "Oh, hey, let's make plans for 2 days from now at 4:00. We'll meet up." But that's just different speed of life.
That's the most challenging part here.
I wouldn't say it's challenging. It's just different. Actually challenging, I think, is a lot of anything. Trying to think how to describe it, but like domestic things, or trying to install air conditioning units in our apartment, or things like that. Things that I think it's a challenge because of the language barrier. Like we're learning Hindi, but we're still not fluent enough that I can just call a guy at the store and ask him, what to do, what's going on.
And for the people who install that, I think there is also a language barrier. They are not well fluent in English in India. So I guess you must be facing that problem.
Yeah. And we get by. We, like I said, we're learning Hindi. So between our broken Hindi and their broken English, we usually can figure it out. In worst case, we always have someone we could call. Like someone like you or some other friend to be like, "Hey, can you translate for us real quickly? Do a little favor." So
you know what? Anytime you live in, I won't say where, but you live very nearby to me now. Anytime, give me a call. I'll explain to him in Punjabi, Hindi, whatever is comfortable.
Yeah.
Towards your career,
Yeah.
I saw your company website. It's about energy also, mining, energy, manufacturing, construction, and waste solutions as well. Your company.
Yeah, they do. I specifically am only in the mining division, but because there's two companies, there's the Syntal website right. And there's the Komatsu. So Syntal basically contracts with Komatsu, but they have other clients too, like Caterpillar. There's another couple small companies in the U.S. that they contract with.
Komatsu is a Japanese company, isn't it? You're working for their U.S. office.
Yeah, so their headquarters are in Japan. They have plants around the world, including where we're from in the U.S.
So when are Komatsu coming in India? We'll have to see.
That'd be cool.
Definitely. What was the most interesting project you worked on in your current career, in your current company?
Yeah. Actually, I think the one I'm on right now is the most interesting one. So like I said, the big motivation is electrification, to ultimately get a mining truck that does not operate on diesel. They've been in a process for several years where they've been gradually making the trucks more electrically powered. So even before this project, they were already building trucks that they have electric motors, everything's electric. The diesel engine just drives a big generator. That's all the thing is connected to. It's also connected to a big hydraulic pump, but so they were already making that move. So now this project where they're thinking, we're planning ahead, we don't know what the technology is going to be in 5 years, but we want to design a truck that has this adaptability. It's exciting because of what it represents, this big change in the industry, but it's also exciting because
it's too close to your heart, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and it's also it's challenging, which in the moment is very frustrating because I'm trying to design something, and it's hard to find a solution. But when you find a solution, it's exciting to see something that works.
It's equally rewarding to find a solution.
Yeah.
So, are you guys stuck for months, not finding a solution? Does that happen?
Not usually. I mean, I wouldn't say I get stuck. but usually I will come up with, like if I have a problem, and there's a variety of factors, so I usually will try and come up with 2 or 3 possible solutions, and none of them are ever perfect. There's never a perfect solution. But at least I have 2 or 3, so then I can show to the rest of the team and to management and say, here's the positives and minuses of these options. Which one do we want to choose? So again, it's always trade-offs in what you're doing.
Interesting. I want to take your thoughts on the Cybertruck Tesla one.
Oh, okay. I admit I'm not very familiar on the Cybertruck. I know of it, but I'm not sure a lot of the technical details.
But do you like the design that Elon has went with?
So I don't know about the mechanics of it. The aesthetic of it, I admit I'm not a big fan of.
You're not?
No,
I like it.
I feel like it looks like it makes me think of the DeLorean from Back to the Future or something like that. Which
That's why I liked it, man.
okay, see, that works because that's not my style, but that's just personal taste, But clearly, other people like it. Then
It looks like a pixel version of a truck that you
Yes.
find in a 90s video game. Huh?
oh yes, that's very apt. Yeah,
But I would love to drive it around here.
that would be cool.
For my eyes, I keep looking for things like that. I love one of the Japanese car. It's called Nissan NX RX-7. It's just like that Back to the Future car. I forgot the name of it.
Yeah, the DeLorean.
My aesthetic, man.
Yeah, for me, it's all about the electrification. Any car that's electric, I'm already on board.
I don't like the Tesla other models.
I am not. I have mixed feelings about Tesla. I like what they represent for the industry.
Definitely.
That they have like single-handedly forced the industry to change. As far as the vehicles themselves, I think a lot of them were initially overpriced, but that's changing. And I've never driven one, so I don't know.
But in India, they're still very, very overpriced.
Yeah.
Have you seen it? They cost like 70 lakh rupees in India.
Yeah, I remember reading in the paper I think a few months back, they lowered the import duty on Tesla. And it said, the headline in the paper was all this excitement that the import duty on these Teslas had been lowered to 30% or something. And I thought, that seems that just seems wildly high to me. And then I found out later, because it used to be
200%,
yeah.
So I feel like, okay. Actually, the reason was the government wanted the Teslas to be produced here, to be manufactured here, but I guess Elon doesn't want that. And we have very high import duties on vehicles. And Tesla is considered a high-end vehicle, so again, very high import duties on that. In your job, do you have a very high clearance level? I want to know if I can, spy into your...
I will say that I have seen things that I cannot talk about.
Oh, spicy. I like
Yeah.
it.
But yeah.
What are the things that you talk about? Can you give us
I don't know how much I can even say. I can't even tell my wife about it.
Oh,
It's funny, they have
heavy projects, man.
Yeah, actually this was a couple projects back. I was working on a part of the truck, or I was brought into this team, this design team, and they had me sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, and I've signed them before. That's just part of the job. And my team leader, he basically sat me down and he said, "Just so you know, this one's for real. Like this, they will fire you and sue you if you break this agreement."
Okay, let's not talk about it then. Any previous, clearance level that now you can talk about? Something interesting that you worked on that the world now takes as it's normal, but years back it was not. Do you have something like that?
Let me think. Me personally, not a whole lot, but I did work beside people that did. It's a little hard because again, we're designing mining trucks that no one sees everything. But I will say, like self-driving vehicles, Komatsu's been building self-driving mining trucks for a long time.
Wow.
Yeah, so they were actually when they were already doing that, when self-driving cars kind of became more of a thing that people were talking about, they already had.
Impressive, man.
Yeah. The difference was just that because they're in a mine, everything's pretty well defined. It's a lot easier.
Okay, it's more easier in a mine. I thought it would be more difficult because of the terrain.
The terrain is more challenging, but the driving path is a lot
Got it.
cleaner, and you don't have a lot of unexpected obstacles.
You don't have traffic in it, so
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, I did work on a while back. So there's a big mining exposition or expo every 3 years in Las Vegas, of all places. So for that, Komatsu built a full-on, fully electric truck. It was not powerful enough to. It was like a demo model. But that was kind of neat to be on. We were on that project, and they were really just throwing everything new into it. So that was neat. Yeah. It's not a truck that will ever be seen out in the real world, but it was something fully electric that people could go and see in the expo.
Was that like the base for your current?
Some, yeah. It was very much a test bed for things that we're now trying to push onto a production model.
Hey, did you work on that one, the Las Vegas show?
Yeah. Yeah, I did a bunch of, so my job specifically, I do a lot of hydraulic systems. So that's why it's like, there's not usually a lot of new things in hydraulic systems. It's really just finding new ways to route hoses and all this, which gets challenging because as big as these trucks are, there's actually not a lot of free space. It's just crammed full of equipment. Yeah.
Do you have to keep yourself updated with the latest tech, or does your job does not require that?
For like the tech that I work on or the tech that we're designing?
Anything.
The
Tech. Wait.
Yeah.
The tech that you work on and the tech that you are designing. What's the difference?
So I would say that the tech that I work on would be like the software that we use for design, for our 3D modeling and stuff like that. They usually stay. They update that software, but they update it about every 3 or 4 years because they don't. It's really expensive, so they're not going to update every year. But they might wait till they get a few years behind and then update it. So yeah, they try to stay up to date on that. And every time some new feature comes in, there are things that we get excited about. Things that used to take us 5 steps are now 1. And there's a database that we have access to that's basically like published research papers of material design, electrical systems, hydraulic systems. So anytime that we are trying to say, is there some new technology that will help us in this situation? That's a database that we can go to and just search and see if there's been research on this or that.
Now you have opened the trails, yes, man. We will build a Batmobile together. The one from the Dark Knight, like the heavy duty one.
Yeah,
With the hydraulics, and that converts to a bike. Oh, challenge.
That's a challenge.
That's a challenge. Man, I'm loving this.
Yeah.
I think I would like to work for your company now.
You're not the first person to ask me if I could give them a job.
No, I'm not asking you that. Just very interested, man. Intrigued to see that you work on things that I plan to build. In a way.
It is interesting whenever I talk to people about it because I feel like day to day when I'm working on it, it feels kind of boring because I'm doing it every day. But when I have a chance to talk about it with someone, then I kind of get excited about it again because.
Plus, someone else is also very excited about it. So,
yeah.
You know what? I'll convince John to leave his job one day and work for me in my bat cave, where we will make Batmobiles, supercars for India, sports cars for India, right? One day. I'll reach there. I'll give you a call.
Yeah, a light composite, fully electric.
Wait for the call. Yeah. And since you're in Chandigarh, we'll meet regularly, of course.
Yeah.
Now, what was the most boring part of your job that you face? Is it the software?
It's a little bit of the software. I would say the most boring part is all of the logistics that we have to do. So I'll finish a design. So I'll have a list of here's all the new parts, here's all their new part numbers, but then I have to make drawings for all of them. There's a there's lots of databases that we have to update and upload. It's hard to describe without showing it, but it's really just, it's a lot of like details work that's not really anything design, but it's all this detail that is important for the future because we want to keep track of what we're doing and keep track of, you know, I changed 4 or 5 things, but here's where I need to give a report about why. So writing those kind of reports, writing, if I do a design presentation, a design review, there's a report that I have to fill out about how it went, what we talked about. So it's just, it has to be done because they need that information, but it's not exciting to do.
For me, it takes like 70% of my job.
Yes, sometimes it feels like it's the majority.
The other 30% is the hard stuff that we have to think about, but we also enjoy. And the 70% of it is like, okay, I did this, completed it.
Yeah.
This is what my findings.
Yeah.
I'm explaining it to a group of people in a presentation, something like that.
Or I have to make PowerPoint slides for a design presentation, which always feels like it takes way longer than it should. But
because I work with like 10 lakhs of calculations in Excel, right? And when it comes to PowerPoint, that crashes. I'm like, come on, are you not powerful like Excel?
yes. Yeah, and there are times that I'll use PowerPoint or Word or Excel, and I'll be like, why can't you do this? And then I'll go searching online.
You run my software very well. You run the aerodynamic software, the 3D modeling one, your PC, and it can't run a PowerPoint or Excel.
Yeah, but it's usually not my PC. It's usually some glitch in the or like there's something I wanted to do and it just can't do, and I think, why is this not a feature? But
maybe next time a Microsoft consumer complaint.
Yeah.
Now the boring part is over. I thought it would be boring if you talk about your job, but man, I'm intrigued for you as well.
I was worried that it would be very boring.
Actually, I bore myself talking about my job, like Jim from the office. I sell paper. I tell people about paper.
Yeah.
You said you traveled back to India before coming here. Where did you travel to?
In 2017, my wife and I, we did just a tourist trip. So we went to Delhi, we went to Agra, we saw the Taj. I mean, it was obviously, it was very exciting. It was our first time traveling to India, experiencing the food and seeing some of the historical sites. So we were there for 2 weeks. When I was a student, I did spend a summer in Gujarat, way back in 2010, 2011, something like that. And that was just kind of, I don't know, I was bumming around for a summer, kind of a gap year thing.
So that's interesting. Where in Gujarat? What did you see there?
We stayed in, me and a few other friends, we stayed in Kutch on the far western corner.
Okay.
So it was kind of like we wanted to go kind of off the beaten track and somewhere no one had heard of.
Did you come as a student from a school trip or a university trip? Or it was just a bunch of boys?
It was purely a tourist. Like we connected online and I don't know, just kind of went from there and then spiraled into this whole thing.
And Chandigarh was the first place for your job. I mean, this was the place where you said, okay, I want to travel back to India, but I'll choose Chandigarh for the first time.
Yeah.
Really, man?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm flattered about my city.
Yeah. It's a neat city. I do like it. Even whenever we travel, if we're traveling out of the country, we have to go through Delhi. And I don't like traveling to Delhi. Whenever we're in Delhi, I always think, I can't wait to get back to Chandigarh.
Definitely. The 3-hour ride from here to Delhi, it's fine. The highways are smooth.
Yeah.
Reaching Delhi, I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, we always take the train. So we get
way better.
Yeah, we get to the train station and then I just want to get to the metro and get to the airport. I don't want to.
Agreed, man. Agreed. How are you adjusting to the food here?
We really enjoy it. I'm a fan of spicy. I'm a fan of Indian. I tend to prefer more veg since we've been here. My wife still really likes non-veg, and she'll order non-veg whenever we're out. But yeah, we have not had any kind of health problems, or we haven't had anything that's been too spicy for us. There was one time at a restaurant in Delhi that was the spiciest that we've ever had in India. And even that was not bad. So I think my spice tolerance has definitely increased in the time we've been here.
And if you're not sick, your immunity must have gone up as well because you're eating Delhi food. Eating Delhi food, we get sick.
Yeah, I did. So we landed in October of 2022. December, so after we were here for 2 months, I was sick for about 2 or 3 weeks. And it wasn't like, I wasn't bedridden. I just was kind of, so there was a little bit. But since then, I haven't really had any problems.
Did you eat street food in Delhi?
In Delhi, no. I do generally avoid street food.
That is a dangerous realm, but as I must tell you, best food is on the street food of Delhi.
Yeah, I did have street food in Gujarat, and I enjoyed it. I haven't had much here, partly because my wife is more cautious than I am, so she's always sort of warning me. But we did have pani puri a couple months back. That was the first time she had had street food.
No, but on the street, na?
Yeah.
Then where you live, there is, I think, a lot of vendors there.
Yeah.
That food is fine. But in India, we have a saying that if it's not dirty enough, it won't taste good enough for street food, man.
That makes sense, yeah.
Like, until you can see flies there.
If the flies think it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. If they are eating it, you should eat it. But for you, I will say, it's a warning for your immune system.
Yeah, we still we'll get, if we're at a restaurant, we'll ask for normal water and stuff like that, but we still we won't drink water right out of the tap. We have a filter that we use.
Never drink water out of the tap, man. In India, we don't have that culture where, pure drinking water comes out of tap. No. Yeah. Never do it. Always have purifier.
Yeah, when I was younger and we were in Gujarat, I was, I'm going to be a tough guy. It's fine. And then a local person told me, we don't drink the water out of the tap. So I thought, okay, well then I'll use a filter.
I mean, it's not filtered. It's coming straight from the river or something like that. And our rivers have gone very bad. I guess industrialization has happened, but anyhow. So, your favorite place in India?
My favorite place in India. Ooh. So I would say our neighborhood in Chandigarh is definitely nice. We like coming back home here. As far as I hesitate to call it tourist.
No.
But as far as sites, I really enjoyed visiting the Golden Temple. So anytime I can travel to Amritsar to visit the temple, I really enjoy. I don't know. I like the aesthetic of it. I like the environment of it. So that I enjoy. But it always is nice to get back. Our neighborhood here feels like home now. So we like coming back.
Chandigarh is always fun to come back to. Any place you go to. I mean, I want to go to Japan. Okay, I love their culture. I just want to visit that place. But I'm pretty sure after a week or two there, when I'll visit back to Chandigarh, I'll be like, ghara.
Yeah.
I call this the shitting on your toilet feeling.
Okay.
You love your home toilet.
Yeah.
There's no other comfort.
Yeah.
And in world anywhere, you don't find that comfort anywhere. Your ass tells you, this is the place I call home.
Yes, my favorite. Yeah. Home is where your favorite toilet is.
My home is where your ass knows that I want to poop here.
Yes.
My personal philosophy.
Yeah.
Although you might have, deducted that I have very weird personal philosophy.
I mean, I think the most interesting people do.
That's a compliment. Thank you so much, man. Any place outside of India that you love to visit?
So some years ago, I traveled to Africa a couple times. So I've always enjoyed. I only got to go 2 times, but Kenya and Tanzania, I think, are beautiful. There's a lot to see, a lot to do. My wife really wants to visit Japan. Usually when we are here traveling, we've been to Thailand a couple times. So Bangkok is nice.
Interesting, man. does your company also supply mining to Africa and places like that?
That's a good question. I don't know for sure. Because I'm not on
I
like the
guess
marketing
you're not on
sales
the
side.
marketing and
Yeah.
sales side. That was just a random thought I had. Oh,
Yeah.
can
If they're
you,
if
like
they're
mines and all.
yeah, I know they sell mines to Australia and South America, Canada, and even Europe. If there's mines in Africa, I'm sure
I
they
mean,
sell
are
them.
there like do they work on diamond mines or other mineral mines? The company. You have any idea because you're on the design side? You must design according to it.
We don't really have to design according to that too much because it's really it's basically a big dump truck.
Okay.
So whatever's going to get dumped in there. I'm trying to think. I did know at one time. I had a better idea about what the minerals are. I know copper's been talked about. There's a site in Canada that is, they call it tar sands. And it's basically this oily sand that they can pull oil out of.
So,
But yeah.
didn't the US invade of
Not yet.
of the oil jokes?
Yeah, I know.
Did you find any similarities in people in US and India? I know we can talk about differences, but tell me about the similarities that you find in people here and your hometown in US.
So it's interesting comparing it to my hometown because since my hometown is small, it's farming town, everybody knows everybody. People are very friendly, very hospitable. I do feel like that kind of hospitality where you would have people that will just like, especially in our neighborhood, we'll walk around and an auntie might just ask us to come in for tea or something like that. And that to me feels more like home because I grew up in a town where we might have relatives just show up or we might it's a Saturday morning, so we just would drive over to a family member's house to hang out.
That's a very Indian thing. And like before the shoot also, my brother said, come home, we'll have food. Because he lives like 100 meters away from me. So we hang out daily, things like that. And I was also going to say that I will take you to the farms around my hometown, to the hills around my hometown. But you said, oh, an auntie comes, asks for a tea. I thought, okay, I'll be there, auntie, no problem.
Yeah. And even like our landlady, so we stay in a flat, a 3-floor house. The landlady lives downstairs. She's a really sweet older lady. She loves us. We love her. She feels like my grandmother. So that also reminds me of home.
I think India does have that hospitality, you know, that culture that a guest, you know, holds a very higher place in our homes. That we will sit on the floor, but the guest has to sit on, you know, good place. The guest has to get best food, which I think I personally also own. One time I had a guest and she paid for her coffee. And my family was like, why did you let her pay for your coffee? Never do that. She's a guest on your podcast.
Yeah.
Never do that. Like, okay, I'm sorry.
I think my mother would tell me the same thing.
By the way, how do you like chai, Indian tea?
I enjoy chai. Yeah, I would take it whenever. I'm not like a chai. I guess I'll say I do like it. I'm not someone who would drink it 5 times a day.
No,
But
don't
I do
do
like
that.
it. Yeah,
That messes up us also.
yeah. But like in the afternoon, I'll go out and have a chai.
It's very addictive, like coffee. Now, sometimes in the morning I'll be like, I just want to have a chai, then I can wake up, do my work. It's like a Kickstarter now. I'm trying to get rid of it actually.
Yeah, because in the morning I'll usually drink coffee to get that kickstart. But by the afternoon, I can't drink coffee but chai will give me that little kick.
It's a little bit lighter on the caffeine side. I guess. So, by the way, John, what are your, you know, goals for the future? Now we're going back to the future.
Okay.
All right. What are the goals of John 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Or are you gonna, you know, after 10 years, you're gonna change your location because people figure out that you're immortal?
They'll figure out that I'm immortal. Yeah. Oh, if only. I would love to be. That would be great. I don't know. We've talked a little. Yeah.
Oh my God, his name was also John.
And are you talking about?
That's the man from Earth, man.
Yes.
I told you I will do that. Told you I will do that impression.
Yeah. I watched that movie randomly by myself years ago, and I've told people about it, and I said this is a fantastic movie, but no one else. I've never met anyone else that has watched it.
I love same. I came across it. I don't know from what recommendation from YouTube or whatever. I love sci-fi movies. I was looking for that. I found it. I watched it. The concept, the people are sitting in a cabin talking, and the concepts. Oof.
Yeah.
The science stuff,
Yeah.
and then the psychologist comes and oof.
Yeah.
That integration of all of the knowledge of humanity combined together, and that man is the center of it.
Right. And you have all these different perspectives coming in, and it's like at the end of the day, you can't know for sure. None of them can know for sure.
And in the end, there is a hint that I don't want to talk about it, but do see that movie. It's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
It was 10 on 10. I also watched the second part.
The second part?
There is a second part. It does not build up to anything else.
Really? Like a sequel?
It's about what happens. Like after that, the professor has moved to a new place, and for some reason he's aging now, and some of the students have figured out that he's that person, immortal.
Interesting. I didn't realize that. I'll have to look that up now.
Again, I watched it because I thought it was an interesting concept. But every review out there says, don't watch it. The first movie is worth everything. It will ruin that. And again, the second movie does not build anything on top of that. It's just a chase of them, and in the end, he vanishes.
Oh.
That sort of thing. Back in time.
Yeah.
We're coming back in time. What advice would you like to give to your younger self? I would like to call this segment in the podcast ke you're talking to your younger self in the camera. There are people who will aspire to be like you, who will aspire to work in the design aspects of automobile industry, of an industry like yours. What do you want to say to them?
Yeah, I would say.
Well done, John.
Good job, John.
Good job.
C's get degrees. But no, I think I would say you can pick a path and pursue it. Picking one path doesn't prevent you from changing in the future, but you have to pick one direction and pursue it. So, yeah. Rather than trying to jump between a bunch of different things or try to do everything at once, just pick one and chase after that.
Okay, that is a good advice for me as well. I should not jump to things.
Because even I struggle with that now. Because I'm like, oh, I want to do this and I want to do this and I want to travel here, and there's just not enough hours
I
in the
see
day.
my bat cave going away. But
See, that-
no,
I'll tell you, that's another case where I would go to my wife Jen and I would say, hey, we were talking about doing this thing, and she would say, but do you have enough time? Like, you have other responsibilities.
but all right. Bat cave is not going anywhere. It's in my 10-year goal plan.
It's always there.
It's
We can
always
always
there.
go back.
The thing is, I'll have to make time for it.
Yeah.
And enough financials, of course.
Yeah.
So one thing I'll focus on is getting the financials right. One day, they'll give you that call,
Yeah.
I'll say just, John, leave your company right now.
I'll have to ask for what the salary package is.
I'll make an offer so good.
Oh, see, then, yeah. Then we can talk.
Definitely, Don Corleone. You, my family, in my house. Please order some coffee. Bad accent. Cut it.